Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have some pretty interesting stuff going on over here that apparently PlayStation is finally going and figuring out. Is that what do you have to do to go make PlayStation 4 games, become playable and more played on the PlayStation 5? And I'm sure a lot of you guys watching this video, hearing my voice, can probably go give me about 15 different really easy ways. And probably the number one biggest way is you just release the game on PS5. I'm sure most of you guys would probably assume that and talk about that, but we've actually now been seeing even crazy big updates that some games are finally ditching the PS4 and finally moving to PS5 games. And what do you think? Finally, people are starting to play those same exact games on the PS5, which kind of leads towards the fact of, dude, people are stupid, bro. Let's go talk about it because it's a very interesting topic nonetheless. And you would think it's a very 1 + 1 = 2 situation, but nowadays it's usually a 1 + 7 + 4 - 3 - 2 divided by 7 + 18 divided by 18 and times 4 to go figure out that the answer is very obvious and just written right in front of your textbook. So let's go talk about it. We also have the Target links down below, so check out all those links down below for the summer holiday sales. We have the Twitter down below, Twitch down below, and subscribe if you guys are new, and also you guys are finally ready for us to stop talking about the PS4 because it is 2024. God only knows, man. Anyway, so as you guys can probably go and tell by some of this stuff, I'm going to yap into it. PS5 survival game gains 860% more players after finally ditching the PS4. So how do you get people on the PS5? You go and kind of cut the lifeline of the PS4. What did PlayStation do horrendously? They kept on selling games on the PS4, which was a very catch-22. They spent hundreds of millions of dollars on God of War, on basically Horizon, and they can still somehow run these games on the PS4, of course, though, on a slightly lesser quality. But at the end of the day, it was not as good of an experience. There was a really weird, just strange issue of them trying to even segue that game on over, and at the end of the day, just make the game for PS5. Now, there was also that big issue, though, with Ratchet & Clank. That game sold like 1 million copies on PS5 because there was only like 5 million PS5s when they even came out in the first place. So there was a little bit of a weird issue where I can understand why. But like, bro, at this point, make the game for PS5. People move on over, sell more PS5s. And at this point, it's also been like 4 years. So people have this weird stigma of like, why do I just not want to wait for the PS5 Pro? Is it even worth it for me to buy the console? And like, it's just weird. This has probably been one of the weirdest console generations we've ever seen. But this one very popular game, 7 Days to Die, finally had their PS5 player count exploded after the game took its PS4 version down from the PS Store and then just replaced it with an updated PS5 version. Like, I mean, do I even have to, like, elaborate in doing these, like, big talk sessions for 8 minutes? Like, it's just so obvious. Like, bro, I don't know what the brain realizes this. And that's why I think having these games make things so much harder. I love the Xbox Series S, but Xbox is trying to force that down people's throats, which is good for the Xbox Series S owners, but it kind of makes things very difficult for other people out there because, well, the game devs making the games don't really want to make the games for it. So why would they? They're kind of just be like, eh. Same with Game Pass, too. It makes it weird. Same thing as well with the PlayStation. Like, if people are happy and content with their PS4, if they come home, they really love 7 Days to Die for whatever reason. If you guys haven't played, it's like a survival, like kind of like Rust-ish type style game. Daisy Rush just a little. It's like a lot of other, like Minecraft 2. It's a cool game. But, like, if you come home from work and your PS4 from 2013 is still working, why do you want to spend more money on the PS5? You don't need to. But then the second that lifeline is taken away and like you kind of cut the cords, bro, you can finally go and play the game on slightly better quality. You can work on these bigger updates. You can make the game better and evolve the game better with the PS5 because it just has more technical power. And like, it makes sense. You know, it makes sense. Like, it's just so obvious. So 8 years after its initial launch on the PS4, those 7 Days to Die trophies have finally now jumped to the PS5. It may have come at the cost of the game's PS4 version, which I feel bad for. I don't think the PS4 version should go away in LBL, which I'm kind of probably just part of the problem, which I get why there's always these issues. Anyway, I mean, I get it. But like, it sucks because you bought the game on PS4, but if they do have a PS5 free version that you get no matter what, it's nice. But I feel like don't take away from the PS4 users if they've had the game forever. But once again, though, that is the caveat where it's like someone bought it What if they don't have a PS5? They can't afford it. Well, anyway, just moving on up. Like, it is weird. But that's why these console generations are strange, because the PS4 is technically strong enough to run most games, although usually at a lower frame rate or resolution. But, like, is this just going to be the future of games? Like, the PS3 to PS4 is a pretty big jump. PS2 to PS3 was huge, and PS1 to PS2 is obviously, like, just crazy. So even a PS1 to PS3 is nuts. But I feel like a PS4 to PS6 will still be noticeable, and we'll still see higher resolutions, quality details, ray tracing, everything else. But it's probably not going to be as crazy. The diminishing returns that we all know from gaming as a whole. And that's why it's just like, sucks, because like, what do you really do? So saying the new port for it has done well though. Like, maybe this is what people need to see, that they can make this jump. Saying just 2 weeks after launch, it's already one of the biggest PS5 multiplayer games around. So 7 Days to Die gains 860% more players. Kind of thing like the Overwatch to Overwatch 2, which I still thought was very dumb. But like, it was a intriguing experience. More people returned. More new people came out too as well. Now, maybe people tapered off and moved on or didn't really care for it, but it was still kind of a relaunch, kind of how this was too as well. Because it had a 537% player increase over the last reported PS4 count. The zombie survival game climbed to 864% more players on the PS5 by the next week, and all they had to do was get rid of the PS4 game. And the PS4 version has since been delisted and has received no updates since 2017. So it sucks. My heart does go out for the PS4 users, like, don't get me wrong. But at a certain point, they are going to have to cut the plug. And I don't like that. Like, I've always been a game preservation guy. I like physical games, so it's like weird to know that. Weird that your PS4 at some point will be kind of worthless. But it makes sense. Like, you want to have more updates. You want to add more, like, it's like at a certain point, like, why are you updating something from the iPhone 9? Because I think at this point, that's the obsolete phone. I think that's still probably a great phone. I'm sure someone out here has like an iPad Touch still from back in the day, or even like a Zune, God forbid. And like, it still works. It's still there, and I see why people use it. But there is a certain vibe of the world where technology does evolve. Things get easier to run, easier to update, easier to play with your friends, more active users, or more of like, I guess, a current user base is nice. So using the gameplay sample data from over 3.1 million active PSN accounts, which draws the majority of its PSN data basically from sources from the True Trophy, just seeing if people are getting trophies or earning stuff. They basically had a chance to go and track all these new updates. And that includes the game too, which just launches 1.0 update on Thursday of July 25th. So ever since then, there's been a bunch of new stuff, which is why like we kind of need this. You know, like if the game hasn't been updated since 2017, it's pretty much dead. It's been 7 years. Like, it's okay to leave it be. Like, might as well for the game devs get to it, because there'll be more PS5 users over time, and then PS5 Pro and blah blah blah. So a new version also came out too with new features and fixes, and also had an 8-year-old PS4 version. And the PS4 version of 7 Days to Die has even been delisted though. Although, even as I was just saying, they can still play it. So I guess at the end of the day, who cares? Like, you're probably not buying a PS4 game that has been updated since 2017, and if you really want to play, get on Steam or whatever. So I guess like that kind of, I guess, puts a mute point in my point. Like, you can still play, it's fine, but like, this is what we just need. It's almost like a cleansing, you know? Like, you have to give up on the PS4. In fact, during the week ending Sunday, June 30th, the PS4 community of 7 Days to Die still ranked among the top 500 most played PS5 and PS4 titles, because the game has been updated forever. That's crazy. But once again, they moved it to the PS5 version, and they had more stuff. Like, that's good. So, however, that PS4 player count has been completely outstriped by 7 Days to Die's PS5 launch, which brought a massive 537% player count boost to the game's PlayStation audience. The audience continued to grow in the game's second week of sales, giving 7 Days to Die a total increase too, as well as we covered. So basically, they had a big resurgence. People finally were like, maybe they've heard about the game in passing, or saw their friends play it, or maybe even own it on PS4 or whatever. They buy the new update, and they enjoy the game. And the game itself is even more revitalized because it has a chance to get with the times and update and move things even better. And that's a good feeling. And that's what it should be doing nonetheless, because once again, we had Weird Horizons and God of Wars, and we just have to at some point give up on last gen. We have to, because if we don't, we're going to be stuck still making PS4 games back in 2016 or whatever, and like the games will be mediocre. It'll take long to come out. And while I still know some people have PS4s and they can't afford a PS5 or can't justify it, whatever it might be, Whatever it might be, I understand. But like at a certain point, we have to cut the cords. And I think this is getting to the point now. Like we've had the PS5 and Xbox One for so long where they're now having sales issues because people are waiting for the next generation. So why do we still care about the broader generation when people are now even worried about the next generation? Like we still haven't had a chance to even enjoy the PS5 or Xbox as a whole. So make new games, justify stuff, cut the cord from the PS4, and at the end of the day, it's still okay. You can still play your PS4 games if you want to be comfy and chilling too as well. And they do have also discounts too, which is nice until August too on top of that. But at the end of the day, we got to go cut the cord. So give me your thoughts and comments and all of that down below. We have the Twitter and Twitch treatment as well if you guys would like to go and follow. And of course, check out all the Target links down below for the summer holiday sales. I appreciate you guys all so much for watching. Hope you guys have a good rest of your days as well.